Here's a whistle-stop tour on Russian Horovod. This particular event began simultaneously in over 100 cities across Russia. Members of SNG formed together with music and dance in front of the Friendship of the People's Fountain in Moscow. At first I thought Horovod just looked cool because of the stereotypical babushka clothes, and other than that it was just a bunch of people running around in circles. Well, it is. But the more I delved into the history, the more fascinating it became. There's a lot of regional variation in the practices of these dances, but I'm going to generalize. The word Horovod comes from Ancient Greek and Old Slavonic. The origins of round dancing is not exactly clear, as it's been practiced in various forms across the globe, from Russia, Ukraine, and Moravia to ancient Rome, ancient Greece, and Mesopotamia. The first round dances were practiced to appease the gods of fertility and the sun god by moving in a circle, signifying light and warmth, the components of good harvest. In Russia, the round dance was a pagan tradition and practiced in 3 months of spring, summer, and autumn. Spring, bearing the significance of new beginnings, was conveniently the backdrop for the courtship dances. The dances were led by the most fiery and passionate women in the village. Gathering in the town square, on a meadow, or in a churchyard, the newlyweds of the previous year would lead the dances, celebrating and fortifying their bond. Following that, the unmarried young girls of the village would join in and invite unmarried young men into the dance. It was incumbent that all young people join in the search for a partner, lest they live in celibacy, childlessness, early widowhood, or marry a pockmarked wife or a lame-legged husband. Those who successfully made pairings were wed on the celebration of Krasnaya Gorka, Red Hill, for a strong and happy marriage. Krasnaya Gorka is now celebrated as an Orthodox tradition associated with the miracle of faith of the Apostle Thomas. At first, he didn't believe in the resurrection of Christ, but then he did. This is a good time to note that it's quite common in Russia to find that traditions of today have their roots in pagan past. The Orthodox Church said, well, if you can't beat him, join him. This is also true of Maslenitsa, which is another pagan tradition where they burn giant wooden effigies. But that's a story for another day. It's actually because of the Orthodox old believers that the tradition still lives on today in parts of the country. But as with so many traditions we practice in our societies, over time, some of the significance is transformed or lost. The patterns of the dance are supposedly inspired by the Rus people, by woodcarvers and lace makers, following weaves, patterns, and concentric circles. Even the swastika is a formation which has been practiced. Yeah, fun fact, the swastika existed long before the Nazi Party took it upon their banner, and it's been present across many cultures. The symbol is found in Buddhism, Norse mythology, European culture, the Masons, and in America amongst the native people of Arizona. It has signified the sun, fertility, prosperity, wisdom, and birth and rebirth, among other things. In Russia's history too, the swastika could be found on the pre-revolutionary banknotes, engraved in architecture in St. Petersburg. An entire wall of Peter the Great's palace was decorated with them. The old Rus had them sewed into textiles, cloths, aprons, and dresses. In the late 30s, it was beginning to be recognized as the German symbol, so a special detachment was sent out to the countryside to burn all the peasants' clothes and fabrics which displayed it. I'm kind of digressing again, but it did seem fascinating to me that delving deep into this, just like round dancing, the symbols are shared amongst many peoples, whether it's an ancient link or deeply rooted in psychology. It remains a fascinating mystery. There's something beyond our comprehension which links us all. That's all we've got time for. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel for more. I'll leave you with the Georgian performance from that day.